Dr. Lewis, welcome to the Play Hard Look Dope show.
Thank you for having me.
How do you think what you do has changed the lives of your patients?
It's just cool to be able to do that perspective of actually touching somebody, fixing somebody, and going from there. When I was growing up, I never went to a chiropractor, ever. I had no idea what they even did.
There's a lot of people out there that believe that chiropractic is sort of like pseudoscience.
Everyone's allowed to have their opinion, but I don't believe that with every problem you can just take a magical pill and you take it and it makes everything go away. It's funny, one of my biggest referrals is an orthopedic surgeon. Whatever I notice, any misalignments or anything like that, I can help fix those. I think most people think you just spend a weekend course and start learning how to crack. Sort of embarrassing story, but I truly wanted to go to dental school. The adjusting part of chiropractic is an art. And like anything, it's a skill that's acquired. Manually adjusting your own neck, it's silly. You shouldn't do it.
Oh, so it's hurting me to do that?
It's definitely not advantageous, I wouldn't say at all.
Are you serious?
At what age do you think it is okay to start adjusting?
Controversial question, to say the least. As people adjusting babies, I'm not a person that's in favor of that.
People actually just want a pill to fix it, and they're like, the side effects aren't that bad.
So I think people have become dependent rather than independent. Instead of putting in the work to get better, they're hoping they can just take a quick pill and they're instantly gonna get better.
Is there a certain weight limit that you can work on someone?
It's a fair question to ask.
Welcome back to the Play Hard Look Dope podcast. This episode's going to be so fun because we are interviewing top chiropractor in New York City, Dr. Lewis. Many of you may have seen his videos on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. I myself saw my first video of Dr. Lewis on Instagram, and he was doing this technique that is only really known and practiced by him, where he put his thumb behind someone's shoulder blade. It was so insane. I showed John immediately. John thought it was absolutely insane and he cringed at it because he's really just not good with stuff like that. But he then went to Dr. Lewis's Instagram page and he was super impressed by his videos and his following and just the techniques that he used. And when I told him that he was here in New York City, we were like, how do we get him on the podcast? John noticed that he followed a friend of ours that we follow. So we had mutual followers, and John reached out to our friend who is actually a patient of his, and he connected us. Just like a few quick days of talking and just, minor introductions. And he was like, sure, I would love to be on the podcast. We were like, absolutely. Like, thank you so much. It's going to be so fun. Where would you like to shoot it? Would you like to shoot it in our studio, or do you have any other place in mind? And he said, come to my office. And we were like, oh my gosh, we're going to go to this amazing chiropractor's office and shoot it on set. We love doing traveling podcasts. So this, guys, is going to be so fun. You're going to learn a lot in this episode. I learned a lot. I learned things I should be doing, things I should not be doing that I literally do every single day. You're going to learn ways that you can help your body naturally with chiropractic work. And you'll find out if you are the perfect patient to see a chiropractor. And of course, we have to get into the controversies and the opinions between doctors and pseudoscience. So we definitely get his take and opinion on that, which is actually really interesting. We also talk about adjusting babies and animals, and we also ask him how it feels to be compared to by these famous TikTokers that do spoofs on chiropractic work. We also took questions from you guys on our TikTok live and asked him directly. So he answers all of those in this podcast. So without further ado, guys, let's go. Dr. Lewis, welcome to the Play Hard Look Dope show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us. This office is fabulous and this painting here is fabulous. Can you tell us a little bit about the painting before we get into what you do?
Yeah, so it's funny. So when I opened up this office, I never wanted to have a traditional looking office. I didn't want to have a medical stereotypical office where it's like white walls and it just looks depressing. So when I was in chiropractic school, I was on Etsy and I saw these funky pictures of these like bodies being like ripped apart, and it was like a weird funky little thing. And so I bought some photos and I was like, if I ever open an office, I'm gonna hang them everywhere. So when I opened my office, I put him up, I tagged the guy, and he actually reached out to me and he's like, hey, I'm gonna be in New York City. He's from Oregon. And he's like, can I come to your office? I'm like, sure, of course. So he comes in and I showed him everything. He's like, oh, it's so cool. And I was like, hey, I have this funky wall here. It's huge, nothing, I don't know what to do. He's like, have you ever painted anything that big? He's like, well, my biggest thing has been like, maybe 3x4, but I'd be happy to do it. So his name is Danny Quirk. He's from Portland, Oregon. Yeah, and what he's known for painting is anatomical paintings on people. So he's that guy that paints removable layers of paint on you. So what his focus, how I would describe it, is like he's trying to take people from learning out of books into on your body. So he paints muscles on your body, peel it off. So everything you paint in this office, so starting with this one, it's all anatomically correct. It's layers and layers. And he didn't trace this. He literally did a little stenciling with a pencil, and this is all freehand. Like, it's all anatomically correct. It's insane. He was here for 2.5 weeks, didn't leave. He slept in one of the rooms. It was smelly.
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks, smelly, gross, and everything, but it was the most beautiful thing seeing come alive.
Is.
I mean, talk about dedication. No, like when you walk in here, it doesn't feel like you're in a doctor's office. It feels way more cool than that.
Yeah, it's like I'm a very laid back, casual person. I kind of wanted that office to be that. So it's like professional, yet at the same time, it's like you're not talking to a doctor in a white coat. I've never had a white coat, never will. It's meant to be casual and fun. How can we get you better in the easiest possible way?
I was totally expecting the white coat with like the pen and like very like sure. I was like, I can't put anything near the walls. I was like, but it's a very fabulous office.
Yeah, we try to make it fun and interesting. So it represents personality, if anything.
Totally. How do you think what you do has changed the lives of your patients?
So it's funny. When I was growing up, I never went to a chiropractor ever, and I had no idea what they even did. But what I've just wasn't a huge fan of is taking meds or anything to fix a problem. I don't believe that with every problem you can just take a magical pill and you take it and it makes everything go away. Chiropractic is one of those only professions where people, or including myself, I put hands on people. I feel things. I feel what's wrong, and I can. Whatever I notice, any misalignments or anything like that, I can help fix those. So it's just cool to be able to do that perspective of actually touching somebody, fixing somebody, and going from there. But what's nice to know is that people can come to me with it's not really a medical approach. It's definitely a chiropractic approach, hands-on, holistic of how we can help you. And it's nice taking people from pain to out of pain pretty quick.
I definitely love the fact that you don't think that you should take a pill for every little thing. But there's a lot of people out there that believe that chiropractic is sort of like pseudoscience and not always effective. So what do you say to that?
You know what? Everyone's allowed to have their opinion, but it's funny. One of my biggest referrals is an orthopedic surgeon. So, he obviously thinks we're doing something right. And it's not like chiropractic school. We went to school for like a week and we graduated. It's 3.5, 4 years of kind of education nonstop. The first couple of years are very similar to medical track. Yeah, and we do a year residency. It's a whole thing. It's not. We don't just wake up, start cracking stuff.
So is it a medical license as well?
No, so it's definitely not a medical license. It's a doctor of chiropractic for sure.
Okay.
Complete separate.
I don't think a lot of people know that it's that extensive.
For sure. I think most people think you just spend a weekend course and start learning how to crack and all that.
I definitely thought it was something like you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, real estate license.
I thought you take a test and like you know what to crack and what not to crack, but I guess it's a way more extensive than that.
It's very involved for sure, and it's fun. It's very fun, truthfully.
How long have you had your practice?
So I've had this practice. So September makes 5 years, so like 4.5 years, give or take.
Since 2019.
2019, yeah, September 2019.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah.
So you're in college, and one day you just wake up and say, I want to be a chiropractor?
No. So I actually had like a weird and sort of embarrassing story, but I truly wanted to go to dental school. I always wanted to be a doctor of sorts, but I couldn't do blood. So I was like, all right, I can do dental. And how hard could it be?
You can do it in someone's mouth.
Yeah, right. I was like, it's gross, but like I can get over it. There's no blood.
Oh my God.
So so my junior year of college, I'm filling out all the application for dental school. I handed them in. I assumed they were all right and all that stuff. And so a couple months, my friends are starting to hear back from schools, and I didn't hear anything back. So I went to my counselor, like, hey, what's going on here? So she's like, oh, you actually filled out the applications wrong. And I'm like,
what?
Excuse me? She's like, yeah, we never sent them out. I'm like, what?
Oh. And they didn't tell you that?
I assumed somebody would tell me, and then that's like grown up thing where they tell you should be an adult and you should check on things yourself. So it 100% is my fault. It's no one else's fault. And then I woke up. I'm just like, I don't know what to do with my life. So I had a buddy that went to chiropractic to look fun. And I was just like, let me apply, see what happens. And I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life. And then a few days later, magically got like an offer to go to school. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So I went there, interview, all that stuff, accepted to school, and then kind of brought me this. I never thought I'd be doing it ever, but it was the best thing that could happen to me.
So no regrets of not going to dental school?
Zero. I honestly thought my parents were super pissed at me. They're like, you're not going to make any money. Chiropractors make no money. You're going to be unsuccessful.
Really?
And because, dentists make a ton of money. Chiropractors has never thought of making a ton of money. And then I was like, I could do anything, and I know I can be good at it. And so it took a lot of hard work to get here, but now it's successful and all that stuff. So it's fun. But yeah, I was worried for a long time. And like all throughout school, I'm like, what did I do? Yeah.
So are all chiropractors equal? Like, can you adjust as anyone else can, or is there some sort of levels?
There's no specific levels. I mean, there's more certifications everyone can always take, but chiropractors are definitely not equal for sure. It's definitely, I would say the adjusting part of chiropractic is an art, and like anything, it's a skill that's acquired. I graduated with over 100 people, and there's most of them I wouldn't let touch my neck, when it comes to adjusting. It's something that's you have to be proficient at. You have to learn from people who are phenomenal at it. You need to get good on your own.
But where do you practice?
Yeah, so that's the funny part. So in school, you practice on each other, which is like, I never had back pain until I went to school, right? So it's like...
That's insane. You practice on a person.
You practice on your friends, yeah. Friends or anyone that'll do it for, yeah, for sure.
But you practice the neck?
Which is the scariest thing to do, for sure.
That's insane.
Yeah, I remember the first time I did it, I tried to adjust someone's neck, but I literally moved my hand this far, and I was like, okay, I don't understand how I'm supposed to go yank it. Because you see all these movies and crack someone's neck and life's over.
Yeah.
But I mean, they don't, when you see a movie, it seems like it's super easy to do. You would have to literally go all the way around, rib, torque it, and then hope, then maybe something. But it's super hard to hurt somebody. But it's just, you don't realize how intricate it is adjusting somebody. It looks funky on videos and all that stuff. I know that, but it's an art.
I mean, I saw this woman on TikTok. She started her video off saying, I broke my neck 2 weeks ago just by cracking it, and I crack my neck every day. And I was like, how are you alive? Yes. I thought that it's just one snap and it's done, but she was like, nope, I just keep going like this, and then I just broke it. And she didn't go to the chiropractor for a week.
For sure, yeah.
She was just like, it's just sore. And then the chiropractor was like, no, it's broken, and you have to be in a brace for a month. And I was like, I'm like, I could live with a broken neck then. I had no idea that it was...
people always ask me all the time, should I be cracking myself? Should I crack my neck? Should I crack my back? All that stuff. Manually adjusting your own neck, it's silly. You shouldn't do it. I tell people, if you want to do a little stretch and if you feel a little crack sound, that's one thing. But if you're just going like that or just yanking your neck, you're asking for an issue. Yeah, for sure.
No way. I do that every hour of every day for the last 15 years.
Most people do. That's what will keep us in business forever. But it's just one of those things you shouldn't do. It seems harmless for sure, but you're gonna get an addictive habit of having to do it like you're already doing it.
It is. I can't wait to do it.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. It's just gonna wear out everything in your neck so much faster than it needs to be.
Oh, so it's hurting me to do that?
It's definitely not advantageous, I wouldn't say at all.
Are you serious?
It's something I wouldn't suggest.
I'm addicted to cracking my neck.
You are.
You and the rest of the world.
I can't wait. I can't wait to do it after this show. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm not gonna. I don't know.
Maybe I'll do it after. Yeah.
Yeah.
More proficient.
Absolutely.
Do you go to a chiropractor?
Yeah. So it's funny. So one of my really good friends I went to school with, he happens to practice in the city. So once a week, every other week, he comes in and we adjust each other and
that's cool.
Kind of go out after. So it's nice.
Have a few drinks.
It's a good way to kind of end the week for sure.
Yeah. Can you self-adjust? Can you do your own?
Again, like anyone else, I can crack my own neck, but in my opinion, it's not a good thing to do. So I don't do it. Or at least I limit the amount. Well, I tell people if you're normal stretch, you hear a little crack, that's great, but you shouldn't forcibly crack anything.
Okay, so since it's confusing me, it may confuse people listening and watching. Sure. So when you adjust someone's neck, you are cracking it, right?
So yes,
you're
for sure.
You're forcing the crack.
So before I adjust anyone's neck, the correct term is adjustment. I'm going to call it crack for fun because it sounds cooler. But before I adjust anyone, I feel their neck. I do an extensive exam, see what's going on. So I'm feeling the joints that kind of feel a little bit stiff that need to. The whole point of an adjustment is to introduce a little extra range of motion to joints that are not moving properly. So although I can adjust every joint in everyone's neck, there's no reason to. You don't want to adjust joints that are already hypermobile to start. So when people are cracking themselves nonstop, they're continuously moving those hypermobile joints that already have way too much range of motion. What I'm doing, I'm feeling the joints that are not moving properly, decrease range of motion, and I'm adjusting those to help free up some of those joints to restore normal range.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, that goes with the art of feeling what's not moving properly and adjusting. You see all these people just cracking everything. It doesn't do anything, but you just want to manipulate the joints that need it.
Okay. So you said earlier that you have a dog.
Yeah.
And a beautiful golden retriever that's sometimes here.
Yeah, he's here a couple times a week for sure.
What do you think of adjusting animals?
So, I've seen all these videos. I honestly looked into it. It looks funny. I'm intrigued by it for sure. I see all these videos. I know a guy that does it.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I don't know if I'd let anyone touch my dog, but
Right, but you could. I mean, possibly.
It's a different certification, all that stuff.
Oh, really?
You can't really do it in New York without being the supervision of a vet. But it's something I definitely want to look into one day for sure. It seems fun, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because you would have a line of people with their tiny little dogs,
especially in New York City. Everyone's got a dog.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So it keeps it interesting for sure.
At what age do you think it is okay to start adjusting?
Controversial question to say the least. what I always see online, like TikTok, all these different videos of people adjusting babies. I'm not a person that's in favor of that. I don't think you should be manipulating young. In my practice, I don't discriminate based on age, but it's one of those things I usually think it's ideal to wait till somebody's like a teenager to start getting adjusted. There's no hard stamp. I can never deny someone for being a certain age, but I think if you're someone who's young, like, a newborn to before 10, you should go to a chiropractor that specializes in younger demographic. I think they just have more experience. So someone like me, I'd be transparent with anyone. I'd be like, hey, this is not my population I work with. I'm more than happy to kind of work with that type of patient, but there are people who are more proficient in that area. So it's all about being honest with people. It's like, if you can work that population, great. If you can't, then it's, you shouldn't go to that person.
Do you think it's advantageous for a young person to get adjusted?
So the biggest thing I see now is in schools, everyone is sitting, the body wasn't meant to sit 8 to 10 hours a day. So kids in school, they're all hunched over at their desk. Now everyone's got a cell phone, they're always hunched over. So in my practice, same with me. In my practice, before social media was a thing, I was treating everybody that was in pain. Now what I'm treating, my main person I treat is people with poor posture that want to enhance their posture, correct their posture, and fix the stiff ache in the back so they're getting from hunching. So students for sure, I think should be under a chiropractor care just to check on their spine, enhance range of motion, keep mobility going. Because again, you just were not meant to hunch over at a desk for 10 hours a day. Not to mention you're in school, then you go home, do homework, all that stuff. So kids are very different now, and everyone should be getting their spine checked.
And then
for sure.
they're on their cell phone.
It's the worst thing.
Yeah, and the laptop, this thing happening back
and everyone's
here.
getting that thing, that text neck, and everyone thinks that their neck's getting like the hump thing going. It's just
totally.
It's funny. One thing I always look at is like you ever seen like the Darwin's picture of evolution where it starts as like an ape and goes up,
we're going back.
And I think we're going back down because we're just hunching. Yeah, it's funny, but it's like it's if you look at anyone walking the subway, everyone's hunched over. It's a weird thing. We've trained our bodies at this.
That's true. Like our shoulders are like this.
Everyone's head forward, rounded shoulders, pelvis is forward, everything's hunching now.
What do you
technology.
call that? Tech neck?
Tech neck is whatever.
That's a good one. I like that. Tech neck. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
So then,
tech neck,
do you think that chiropractic work can be life-saving, and what sort of elements can it really help with in changing someone's life?
One of the biggest things when I kind of mentioned earlier, but we're in one of the few professions that we put our hands on people. We physically touch things. It's one thing to look at somebody, diagnose them, and write them a script. But when you actually put your hands on somebody, you feel things. So I think it enables us to feel something. If we feel something that's off, we can say it. We can be like, hey, we need some imaging on this aspect. And I think we're able to catch things by putting our hands on people. And I think you can't do that if you don't touch somebody. So that's why I really like our profession. It's unique. We stand out in that aspect.
That's interesting. So it seems like patients should kind of go to you first, and then you can help them.
I would think so.
Figure out
for sure
next steps.
And I'm not the right person that's going to fix everyone, but I think I'm a good starting point. Like even in my office, we have massage therapy, we have acupuncture. It's one of those things. If I know I'm not the right person, or I think something's wrong, I think you have some sort of disc issue or something, I can refer you to the right person for sure. But I think you learn so much knowledge not by looking at somebody, but by kind of feeling everything about them.
Do you think your profession is more proactive?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, for sure. And like I said, most people I treat now, it's not because they're in pain. It's they feel their posture's off. So I'm a big believer if we can kind of enhance your posture, it can help all your musculoskeletal things going on. So we like to, even though you're not in pain, I treat you before you're in that bad spot. So I can kind of help correct things now, give you some stretches, kind of help yourself.
You said earlier that you don't believe in taking a pill for everything. Can you kind of expand on that thought process? Because I feel like we're in a world where medicine is so accessible.
For sure.
And people actually just want a pill to fix it. And they're like, the side effects aren't that bad.
So I think people have become dependent rather than independent. So I think everyone's relying on somebody else to fix them. And instead of putting in the work to get better, they're hoping they can just take a quick pill and they're instantly going to get better. Chiropractic, we don't tell everyone we can fix them one day. We can't. There's some things that are simple, but most of what I try to prescribe and kind of tell people to do is we need to make some lifestyle changes. I don't want you to think that I can tell you to do one thing and you're going to magically be better. That's what a pill is. Because then you're completely reliant. If I have the symptom, I have to take this pill to get better. I'd rather show you some stretches to kind of enhance your posture, to get you moving, to get you in a constant habit of stretching or mobility stuff, start you working out so you can kind of help yourself. And that's the biggest thing.
So you kind of make people more responsible.
I want people to be more
Yeah.
responsible for sure. I tell people every single day, I could adjust you every single day. You're not going to get significantly better. The only way you're going to get better is by being proactive. So I'll give you stretches, I'll give you extras, I'll give you everything to kind of do, but it's all about you being active. It's a waste of somebody's time if they come to me and rely on me to kind of fix everything. It's not going to happen. I can temporarily make you feel better, but long term, it's going to be on the person.
Is there a certain weight limit that you can work on someone in?
It's a fair question to ask. You definitely need. They make a wide variety of tables. I have very strong tables but even my tables, they max out at like 600 pounds. So if somebody's larger than that, we're gonna have an issue.
Well, they wouldn't get through the door. No.
That might be an issue.
Yeah.
But truthfully, it's when people are a little larger, it makes things a little more difficult. But like anything, there's a million different ways I can help people.
Okay.
So I don't adjust every single patient. Sometimes it's stretching, sometimes it's doing muscle work. Sometimes there's a million different things we can do here that's going to help somebody. So I don't have to. The crack sound is, I know it's stereotypical of a chiropractor to hear that crack sound, but it's not everything we do. It makes up a small minute of what we actually do.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so when someone is a little bit larger, we can do completely different things for sure.
Okay, so they wouldn't go necessarily right into chiropractic work then.
What I do with everyone, I give them a full exam and then we figure out what the best course of action is. And if I'm not the person, I'll tell them right then and there.
What do you think would happen if more people decided to use acupuncture and chiropractic work? What do you think the shift would be in the generation if people did that? What do you think we would see change?
So take a step back from that. What I'm seeing right now is a population the U.S. population is just getting unhealthy. We're so reliant on everything to magically get us better, and we're not. I think what we kind of touched on earlier is chiropractic, acupuncture, massage, all that stuff is very proactive stuff that kind of gets you feeling better and kind of put you in the mindset of kind of helping yourself. So I think if everyone would be more proactive in going to these types of doctors rather than relying on a pill to make you feel better, I think everyone could gradually over time enhance their own bodies, get better, less disease, less medicine, all that stuff, and kind of more about self-care than anything.
Why do you think we're getting less healthy as a nation?
Everyone's trying to find the next best fix, the quick fix to kind of fix everything. The food we eat is not, it's not healthy. People don't exercise anymore. I remember being in my gym class versus my nephew's gym class. They're not the same thing. We're not as athletic anymore. We're not doing the hardest things. People aren't sweating anymore. People aren't working out every day. People become so lazy. And the worst thing was when COVID happened, everyone worked remote. And now most people are still remote. So everyone's they're not even moving, at least transporting to your office. You're literally sitting in your apartment, not moving.
That's interesting.
And then you're wearing seamless.
Oh, for sure. But it's like the amount of people that we had, this office has been open pre-COVID and post-COVID. So a lot of the people that came in, their personalities changed drastically. If they became one of those people that went to work 5 days a week to working remote 5 days a week, it's crazy how social interaction, body changes. People hadn't seen in years, significantly bigger, less range of motion. They had these phenomenal workout habits, stopped doing it, and now they're
that's
and it changes your body.
Notice all that.
That makes sense. I guess if they would be leaving the office and typically going to work out, and now they're not leaving.
But
the
even
office
going to walking to the subway, taking the subway, walking to your office, going out for lunch, going out with friends after. People are now just wake up, roll over, work, and go back to bed or sit on their couch, and it's just
watch TV.
Yeah, people aren't moving, and that's the worst part.
Yeah, that is a very sedentary lifestyle. On your social media, you've amassed close to 5 million followers in a short period of time across YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, which is extremely interesting. I have to check that out.
How the fuck did you do that?
How did that even start? Which one took off first? what were you posting?
Yeah, so it was a really simple thing. So when I opened the practice September 2019, fortunately we got busy really quick, which was awesome, and got busy from September. My birthday's in March. I flew to Miami with some friends, came back. As soon as I landed, COVID was a thing. So it was a really young practice, 5-6 months old, really busy. And then when I came back, it instantly shut down. Practice was closed. We had nothing. Went from a really busy, really successful to nothing. Wow. And so I was like, okay, I just signed this, 7-year lease. I have no patients now. What am I going to do? So I had this one patient, and she was looking through my Instagram. And my Instagram was literally me taking pictures of my socks and posting it, or just random crap. Or just it has nothing related. I was trying, but it's not my profession. I don't know what to do. And she's like, hey, for $100, I'll delete your. She worked for a marketing company. She was like, hey, $100, I'll delete your social media, and we'll start from the ground up Instagram, and we'll see what we can do. And I was like, all right.
Wow,
so
that's
then
a great offer.
She had an idea, and she's like, let's try to work with some influencers. And I had no budget for this. And just as a standing point, I would never pay anyone to be on social media. It's just it's not who I was. She's like, all right, well, let's be creative about it. Let's see what we can do. And then so she reached out to a bunch of people, and everyone said no. And then magically, because we had no following, it's I had 100 followers or whatever.
Yeah.
And then magically one person came in, we did some content, and we were really the first people to work with influencers. So Instagram, so people came in, they posted, and our reach kind of grew pretty quick. So Instagram grew really fast. And then we were crushing on Instagram. We were the biggest definitely in the city. And then we're like, all right, we need to stay ahead of the game. So then we sort of transformed to let's TikTok was a new thing. I had no idea about TikTok. And then that blew up really quick. And then last year we started YouTube, and that went nuts. So it's a really quick growth, which is awesome.
No, I mean, congratulations on that.
So which one are you most proud of?
So it was really funny. So the one that I'm most happy about, so I have a niece and nephew, and right now they're like 14 and 12, but like when they were like 12, 13, I feel like we went through this phase of like, I used to be like a fun uncle, and they would come up to me, give me a hug, give me a kiss, all that stuff. But when they hit like 12 or 13, they that stopped. And we went from being like super social to like nothing, because you're an older person. It's like, I don't want to be involved. And then I'll never forget, I went to my sister's house, and I saw her niece, and her friends were like, oh, that's the chiropractor from TikTok. And then from that day, instantly become best friends again.
He's cool.
Oh, they're totally cool.
So forget about money, forget about patients,
funny.
forget about anything. So TikTok is like, I'm in forever debt for TikTok, because like it like solidified that relationship back
in.
They're like, oh my God, yeah.
Instantly cool, because I went from this like loser uncle to like, my friends know you. And like, it's not cool for these young girls know you, but it's just cool because that changed an aspect of my life for the better, and it's only been good for there.
And doctors are known for being boring.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, but social media is one of the coolest things. Why I love it the most is like, before social media, when anyone would go to a doctor, it's like, how did you find your doctor, right? It was always word of mouth, you looked in a book or looked on the internet for like a name, you walked in, hope for the best. The best thing about social media, for me, it's like, I post everything out there. You see exactly what I do, who I work with, all the techniques I do, and you're like, all right, this is the right person for me, or it's not. Or like, oh, I thought chiropractors just crack people, that's it. And you see the other things I do. So it opens up people's minds about what I can actually do, which is cool. But I like that just shows my personality, who I am, and the stuff we do here. Rather than just kind of picking Joe Schmo in the book and hope for the best.
Yeah, you can see the person's personality as well. I had this one doctor, dermatologist. It was awful being in the office with him, because he would just say one word and then just stare at me for like 15 minutes and like ask me a question. I would answer, and then I would just feel, I'm like, are you okay? I'm like, why are you not talking? Like, please, like,
stroke.
Yeah, I'm like, I thought so. And like, even my mom, we would just sit there and go, so what now? Like, say something. So I think you're right about that. Social media shows the personality, so people can,
for sure,
they know what to expect when they come into your office. If it's going to be like laid back or uptight, anything like
that.
But
it's very straightforward. Like, this is the right person for me, or it's not. Right.
Totally.
And I'm not the best person for everyone, but it's nice that they can see who I am first.
Yeah. Have you ever had any social media like critics before? Anyone that ever like stitched your video and they're like, this guy's not doing it right?
All the time.
Really? What do you say to that? Do you go back and forth?
No, I honestly, I love it. I think it's funny.
You think it's hilarious?
And, it happens like every week for sure. And we get a lot of great praise, and then we get a ton of just not great stuff, and it's funny.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I was reading through comments, and some people were like, I would never do this, or I would never let this guy touch me. And I'm like, from what? Because everything looked perfectly fine in the video. And speaking of which, what do you think about all of the spoofs on chiropractors, like where they take the table and smash?
Honestly, they're the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Their videos are better than my videos, and it's just incredible to see. Some people are just ridiculously creative, and then just the content is phenomenal. Yeah. I love each one. I get tagged on all of them, and they're great.
Yeah, I've seen those before. I've seen actual chiropractic work. Yeah, and I'm like, that's actually hilarious.
I would love to have those guys in here.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
No, usually that would be so cool. Yeah.
But
that's a good idea.
But honestly, it's great exposure. I love it for the profession. It's good.
Yeah.
You should invite them in, and you adjust them.
That would be fun.
That would be
and also put some like tables for them to break in the meantime
totally.
as well. Right?
Yeah.
Compare the 1 to 2. Yeah.
Somebody had a question online before we started filming. Does chiropractic work help with any allergies or sinuses?
Okay, so chiropractic as a whole, you can't say you are treating somebody's sinuses. You can't say all that stuff. Okay. But when we adjust people, we do muscle work to the neck, all that stuff, people say that they feel better, it helps with their sinus, stuff like that. So I can't claim that we do that, but it is something that people say that they feel significantly better when they get work done, for sure.
Well, I think you have the best patient sitting to my right, because this guy, I swear, has the like his like I feel like his back is made of cement.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything is always like hurting. He was at the gym this morning and he pulled a tendon somehow. We don't know how. If you were to look at him without touching, what do you think the first thing you would do?
How's my posture?
What do you think?
I think right now you're phenomenal. Rewind it 5 minutes ago. I don't know, but I mean, it's like he's like everyone else. Everyone is that super hunched over. We got the rounded shoulders, your forward head carriage, your hips are forward. You know, everyone slouches, including myself. It's just one of those things that's what you see on everyone. So
I'm a slob.
there's plenty of room for improvement, is what I'm saying.
I would say for sure.
But honestly, we've trained our bodies that this is so normal, hunching and poor posture, all that stuff. And then when we try to do physical activity, it's not a surprise when we get hurt.
What's your like ideal patient? You're like, you see them come in, you're like, yes, fuck, this is gonna be awesome. Like, or you're like, not today. You know, what is that? What is that difference?
I mean, honestly, most of my patients are those like weekend warriors or those CrossFit or any sort of workout guys, and that's what I'm seeing regular basis. And I honestly enjoy working that population so much, like a young 25 to 35 athletic population, because they're those people that if you tell them you need to do these stretches, you need to do X, Y, Z, you're going to get better. They're going to do it. I always look forward to someone that comes dressed, ready to go, like in workout clothes or something that they can get full range of motion, not in like a stiff suit or whatever.
Oh, I didn't think of that at all.
I feel like when people show up ready to work out or ready to get work done, they're going to get better quicker because they're going to take control of their body. They're going to do stuff and they're open to kind of being treated.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about the dress code. I guess you wouldn't show up in a 3-piece suit.
And then do people come see you and then go directly to the gym, or is there?
Do they come after?
So it's personal preference, 50-50. But in my opinion, most people come to me before they work out, because when you get adjusted or stretched out or anything, you're going to have more range of motion. So most people tell me that they like to get adjusted first, then work out.
How long is a typical session?
Depending on a patient, but I would say 30 minutes, give or take, depending what we're doing. Some people significantly longer, some people a little bit shorter. It really just depends. A lot of people pop in and out of work. They're like, hey, I got 5 seconds. I want to get adjusted and come back to work. I'm like, sure, it's New York City. Everyone does that. But I'd say about 30 minutes is what we block off for everybody.
So your practice doesn't just consist of chiropractic work. You have acupuncture, cupping, massage therapy.
Yes, we have all this.
The cupping, I feel like, is least that people know about.
For sure.
What is it? What is the significance? What's the benefit of that?
Cupping's a little funky for sure, but I mean, it got famous when like Michael Phelps started wearing it, when he used to have the marks in his back and everyone was watching him swimming. I think that's when it blew up.
Marks on their back,
Yeah. So what it's supposed to do is the cups, they go on your skin, they create a little suction. What does it? It's supposed to like separate the skin from the muscle, which is going to decrease some inflammation, increase some blood flow. And we do something called gliding cupping. So where the cups are moving, we put a special oil down, the cups move. So it's like a massage and cupping at the same time.
Does it hurt?
Does not hurt at all.
Okay.
And then we'll also stretch you out when you have some cups on you too. But it's really great for just, I mean, it feels phenomenal, but it's one of those things. The marks, everyone thinks they hurt. They don't hurt at all.
Because I used to see them for like a week. We saw a woman like last week. And he was like, "What the hell is wrong with her back?"
But they honestly, they feel great. And once you start using them, they're just a constant thing you're gonna want to use.
So do they have to be hot in order to? Is it a glass?
Definitely not.
Cup
So the cups we use are glass. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's plastic ones as well.
Okay.
But they're not hot at all. Sometimes the acupuncturist here, his name is Jay. He does like fire cupping. So you'll see it. He'll torch it up, light it under, put some smoke under there, and then put it on.
That
so
has
it's cool.
to hurt a little bit.
No, it doesn't. You don't even. You feel a little bit of warmth, but it's not going to hurt. It's not going to burn you, nothing like that.
So do you actually do the cupping?
I'm the acupuncturist that's here. He does the cupping. Yeah.
Does it.
Have you had cupping done?
Yeah,
before?
I do it every 2 weeks.
And you can do it anywhere. Or is it just
Anywhere,
on the back?
Anywhere, for sure.
Okay.
A lot of people like they're having like knee problems or leg problems, or work with a lot of pitchers, so they'll get it down their arm. You know, any body part for sure. Even a lot of runners, they get plantar fasciitis, so they'll have issues just from running constantly. And so we'll do it on the bottom of the foot. We do it everywhere.
That's interesting.
So is it more proactive or is that more for?
I would say both.
Okay.
It's very marathon season. We're packed, so everyone's doing cupping, chiropractic, massage, all that stuff before, just to preemptively make sure they're good. But then as soon as when they're done after, everyone's running 26 miles, whatever. You're just beat up. So it's a good way to help with that.
What do you think of all of the Theragun and whatever those things are?
Yeah, huge fan. There's a million different copycats when it comes to those devices, the percussion instruments. I'm a huge fan of Theragun. It's usually when it comes to other products, I'm like, get the cheap one, doesn't matter. Theragun truly is the best of the best, and the quality of their machines are awesome. What you should do though, if you're going to buy one, or if you're going to invest in one, have a partner that's going to help you with it. That's the best advice. Most people buy them, they use them one time, like, oh, I can't reach my back, and collect
sits
stuff
on the shelf. Yeah.
But they're honest. It's changed my practice. I do it on every single person, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, so if you're going to get one, you don't need to get the most expensive one, but I would stick with the brand Theragun. They're great.
And in terms of acupuncture, something I've never tried. I think you've done it before, right?
Yeah, acupuncture. I love it.
I just don't understand literally anything about it. Like, tell me something about it. Like, as someone who I just don't get it.
Honestly, we have it in the practice, and it's one of those things I'm still learning about.
Okay.
It's just there's so much involved with it. Connecting all the body chains and stuff like that, and it's in depth. So that's like a longer conversation for sure.
Yeah, that's a bit. Yeah, I've never understood it. He swears by it.
Yeah, so every 2 weeks I do cupping and acupuncture. We do all in the same session, which is great.
Does it hurt?
No.
And I'm not a huge fan of needles at all. So let's say he's putting 10 needles in you, you might feel 2 of them. You're not going to feel.
Like how deep? I just like.
I'm telling you, some of these he shoves in there. No, they're like, it could go like a half inch deep. It could be a quarter of an inch. It could be more.
Insane.
It just depends on what they're going for. You really don't feel it.
I think people do like all over. I'm like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
It's done here all the time, and it's kind of crazy to say the least. But I mean, some spots for sure hurt. Like if you get them in the hand and stuff, not going to feel good. But whatever it does, whatever magic voodoo it does, it helps.
And when you get to migraines, what do you recommend for migraines?
So usually I'll start with most people, and if I think I'm the person, usually some muscle work, usually a lot of tight muscles at the base of the skull, loosening up those. Sometimes a couple of the top joints of your neck need to be adjusted, so I'll manipulate those to increase some range of motion, take some pressure off the nerves. Acupuncture is phenomenal for relieving tension for sure.
I keep hearing that, and I'm just like, I feel like I've tried everything, but I've tried every pill.
Yeah, for everyone has, yeah, for sure.
I have not tried a more holistic.
Yeah, what I tell everyone is you try it a few times. If it works, great. If it's not for you, you try something else.
Yeah, I just sort of wake up and just hope that today is not the day.
Yeah, it's all about being proactive and trying something else.
Yeah, pretty much. What does a typical day in your life look like? How many patients are you seeing? What do you...
So on our longer days, I mean, I might see anywhere from 30 patients to 50, 60 patients. It really, my load just depends on...
In one day?
Yeah, my load just depends on the type of patients we're working with. So some patients... You need a full uninterrupted hour of my time. So on those days, I'll see significantly less. But we schedule accordingly. What people need is what we're going to schedule. But but we're open for 11, 12 hours in a day. So it's not like I'm seeing like 50 in a minute. It's throughout the whole day.
That's a long day.
Really long day. I mean, it's also a lot of people to help too. So
so you have to be a people person.
100%. This whole job is talking to people. Well, when you talk to people, you learn about their body, you see what's going on, and you can also treat them and diagnose them a lot better.
And they want to tell you everything. You're like a therapist.
Every single thing. I always say I should charge 2 copays from the chiropractic adjustment and for the therapy for sure.
Totally.
So what's the craziest thing you've ever been told?
I was gonna ask that. I love that.
We see a lot of people have scoliosis. And we see people that have like almost a 90-degree curve, like where they're literally his body is like that, but like significantly.
You will see people like naturally standing that way.
Yeah, it's crazy. Or people that have lost so much height because they have their scoliosis is so bad, and even though we can't correct it, we can make them feel significantly better.
Okay.
With them, it's not. I mean, you can adjust some joints, but it's more or less increasing range of motion, the musculature, removing some of the tightness, and increasing quality of life pretty quick, which is nice. We can't fix it. We can definitely improve the symptoms for sure. Crazy seeing somebody walk like that, and you're like, how do you walk like that? How did your spine adapt to your body? And
I've never even seen that before.
Yeah. We see some of these crazy X-rays all the time, and it's just like, how are you functioning? It's just crazy, the human body.
Does chiropractic work help with intimacy? Somebody asked.
So again,
somebody asked, and I said, "That's good. I actually want to know."
It's one of those things. Again, we can't say, "Hey, we treat you for ED," or we can't treat you for all that stuff. But what we can say is, when we treat people who have ridiculously tight low backs, and we can increase some range of motion, it can definitely get some motion going in people's bodies for sure.
Motion in the ocean.
So it puts a little down there.
It gets some extra blood flow going. So
I probably like right after that, you'd have to go and get back home or something.
Or you bring your significant other.
That's why we have multiple rooms here.
Oh my gosh.
Hourly rates.
A lot of people follow you. They love you. They see what you do every day, but people don't really see what you do outside of your practice. So like, what do you like to do? Bars, restaurants?
Honestly, I like to get out of the city a ton. Okay. I have a home upstate. I like to get out, country life and just relax.
What part?
It's like an hour and 10 minutes north of here, called Carmel.
Oh, okay. Because I'm from Albany. That's why I was wondering if it was...
I've never heard of this town until I bought a home there, but it's just, I like to be out, sit on the lake, drink with friends, relax, nothing crazy.
Horseback riding?
Honestly, just take the dog and run in the country. It's good.
Why
but
I hear upstate, I think like
I was going to say fishing.
Empty field.
I'm sure there's horse somewhere.
He doesn't leave the city unless it's like Miami or Vegas or something. So
Yeah,
his
for sure.
idea
I used
of
to stay in
upstate-
here a ton. Now I'm just all I want to do is get out of the city once I'm done working.
Yeah.
For sure.
So you go like you'll leave for like a weekend or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday
cool.
night, Sunday night for sure.
Oh, so you're out every weekend?
Most for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, during the week, I mean, I treat a ton of patients. I'm exhausted Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday. So I don't go as much as I'd like to, but let's save it up for the weekend, which is good.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What is your favorite type of food, like restaurant places to go in the city?
It's funny. My favorite restaurant is this restaurant called Q, KYU. It's on Lafayette, and it's like.
Have you heard of it?
It's like I would say it's like Asian barbecue, but like upscale to
Sounds
say the
like,
least.
yeah.
It's like my favorite place to go. He was one of my patients. His name's Chris, but now we're ridiculously good friends, and he's the executive chef there. And I go there as often as I can. And now he's opening up a bunch of different restaurants, but it's a staple for me. It's one of my favorite places to go.
If someone is in recovery in terms of like physical therapy, could they also come to you as well?
For sure.
Instead of doing the physical therapy where they're sitting there and just not
So,
doing anything.
Every
probably?
profession has their own part.
Okay.
If you tear an ACL and need rehab, chiropractor is not the right person. Physical therapy should be the person that's doing it.
Okay.
If it's more of like a musculoskeletal condition where it's not so much fixing fixing something that you tore or something like that, that's where chiropractic would set in. So I work side by side with a ton of physical therapists where we have mutual patients that while they're doing range of motion, restoring like a frozen shoulder, and I'm adjusting the joints around it to kind of help with mobility. So I kind of work with tandem, but we keep in our own lanes when it comes to that aspect.
Okay. What do you say to the people that are deathly afraid of coming to a chiropractor? They all the time they're like, I'm not getting my neck adjusted. I'm not getting my back adjusted.
Honestly, we see like 30 to 50 new patients a week. And it's one of those things, I would say more than half have never been adjusted before. And every single person is always like, I'm crazy nervous about the neck. So what I always do for every single patient, I always tell them, I'm not going to adjust your neck. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So I have everyone laying down. I put my hands on them. I go through the motions. Like, this is exactly what we do. And I run through the whole informed consent and what all the things can happen, all that stuff. But it's one of those things I think when you show somebody how simple it is, they kind of relax significantly, and they don't realize how bad it is. Like, the movies are unrealistic. And I'll say the crack sounds you hear, it's not your bones clicking. Everyone thinks your bones are cracking. It's purely just nitrous gas escaping. You can make that.
Wait, it's not your bones?
No, you can literally make that sound every 30 minutes an hour.
It's not your
Cracking
bones.
knuckles.
Yeah, it's not your bones
gas.
cracking. Everyone thinks it is, and
I literally
we're not cracking bones.
thought-
It's just gas. It's gas escaping.
Oh.
That's why you can. That's why you can make that sound
air.
about it. Yeah,
Oh my God. Well,
yeah.
you should. I don't know why you're afraid to get your neck. It's
I
not
want
even
my
your
neck
bones.
broken.
But it's not. It's just you have a lot of air in there.
I do.
You have
And
a lot
then
of
here, airhead over there.
nitrogen or whatever he says it is.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid at all if
Yeah.
I had no idea.
For sure, it's not for everyone, but most people it's very safe.
Well,
for.
that's why it doesn't hurt then. That makes sense.
Yeah,
'Cause if
it never hurts. I mean, listen, if you're coming in with a ridiculously tight neck and when you've strained a muscle in your neck, you got to be really careful when you're adjusting somebody. And that's why we do an extensive exam before we do anything. And if you're not the right person, I'll tell you, I'm not going to adjust you, or you should do physical therapy, or you should get a massage, you do something else, and all that.
Start it off.
Yeah, not everyone can be adjusted, but if we can, we'll do it.
How often do you see a typical patient?
So it varies, patient, but a typical patient, I might treat them maybe like once a week for a few weeks till they feel significantly better. Again, I do treat people in pain, but a lot of my patients ever since post-COVID, it's more or less everyone's hunching over, poor posture, and they're trying to enhance it. So what I like to do is I'll do like a full body adjustment the first visit, do some muscle work, kind of give them some tips of how they can kind of do it. Treat them for once a week for a few weeks till they start feeling better, and then make them dependent on themselves rather than being reliant on me. If they get in the habit of getting adjusted by me, and there's some chiropractors that adjust you 3 times a week for 10 weeks and keep coming back forever, you just become reliant on the person. I want to, and we have a high volume practice here. My intention is not to treat people 100 times. It's to treat you, to feel good, to give you the tools to help yourself, and when you need it, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
We've all seen the video of you putting your thumb inside someone's.
Yeah.
I don't know even what that.
We call it a scapular release. So your scapula
Okay.
is your wing bone. So especially when you hunch, all those muscles in your upper back underneath your shoulder blade get tight. So what I like to do, I'll push somebody's shoulder back and take my finger and I'll go under the thing, try to scrape all the way underneath it.
Can everyone have that done?
So I definitely do it on most people for sure. But some people, we have to do a lot of things to kind of loosen up the musculature around it before we can kind of get under there. Yeah. Most people can get under pretty
It
quick.
would take them a couple of years of seeing you.
As long as you keep paying the copay, you can come as many times as you want.
Yeah, right?
But it's funny on those videos we never show anyone's face because it definitely does not feel awesome. I would say like Hurt So Good originated with that.
Oh, I'm just like,
yeah,
I kind of want to see what that's like.
Yeah, it's funky. But
How did you learn that process?
Honestly, I just kind of it was just something that's not done.
Yeah, I feel like that's your
yeah,
thing.
I feel like that's
anyone
most
do
people that
that
come in is from those videos, and it's just a spot that we started working on a couple people randomly because I thought it would help, and then it kind of took off, and now it's like, why is not everyone not doing it?
Have you ever had it done on you?
I have not, no.
Oh my god!
amazing.
Wait, I was like, did you teach anyone how to do that on you?
It's kind of my thing. I like
Okay.
that, yeah, for sure.
You came up with
I
that.
feel like I haven't seen anyone on
for
social
sure,
media.
yeah.
I was actually on Instagram, like the Explore tab or something. I sent it to you.
You did.
At like 11:30 at night. I was just like laying in bed, of course, like just
Yeah.
on it, and I was like, "No, babe, you need to see this." This guy
Yeah.
put his hand
It's like your
inside
hand
someone's.
disappeared.
It's funky and
Oh my
effective. I mean,
God, it's
don't
like-
get me wrong. Massage therapists massage everything, right? Or they get under deep, but this is like a proficient aspect of my practice. It's what I do on most people, for
What is
sure.
the benefit of that?
Just from responses, it's significant increase in range of motion of the shoulder joints.
Okay, that doesn't help. Does it help with inflammation as well? mean,
I wouldn't
or-
say it helps. What
No?
it's meant to
Okay.
do is break down some tissue, increase in range of motion of the musculature, and allow to kind of people from hunching to kind of straighten up when the muscles loosen.
Can you also do it on anyone who's had any post injuries in that area? Can you go in there and do that, or you would say?
I would definitely, like any person, give a simple exam, see what's going on, and get the medical history. And if it's warranted, I can definitely do it.
Yeah.
But if somebody, tore all the rotator cuff muscles or tore something,
Right,
and
something
they
like
can't
that.
lift their arm, I'm not going to force it.
Okay.
For sure.
So there's some injuries that you would kind of like stay away from in terms of doing your work.
For sure. If somebody's unstable or their bones are brittle or something like that, I probably wouldn't want to force some extra range of motion there. But
Is there an age limit then? Because you said brittle
yeah,
bones.
so there's definitely no age limit for chiropractic, but when it comes to manually adjusting people, like you see in all the videos, that's not done in every single person.
Okay.
There's a million different ways to kind of work on somebody. Adjusting, again, isn't done on everyone, but if it's people have like osteopenia or osteoporosis where their bones are wearing down, their bone quality is not there, you don't want to be adjusting somebody. You don't want to hurt them further.
Okay.
Do you treat any athletes?
Oh, I would say like half our practice is
Really?
Athletes for sure.
I would say probably if I had to guess, I would think like football players.
Well, you're right near the garden. You get any Rangers, Nick?
We do the dancers for the Knicks then. That's,
Oh, no way.
Oh, no
not the
way.
athletes just yet. But
Okay.
That's cool.
Soon, for sure. So we're at the part of the show where we ask every single guest the same two questions.
Sure.
They're just rapid fire questions. The first one is, if you could have dinner with anyone in the world, who would it be? And if you could have the phone contact list, I'm sorry, your face right now, you're like, what the fuck is it? And if you could have the phone contact list of anyone in history, dead or alive, famous politician, whatever, who would it be?
Who do I want to go to dinner with? I guess I should have prepared for this question. So it's funny. So it's, one of my favorite people that I follow on all social media. I don't know if you heard of Tim Tebow. He's like my favorite football player of all time.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
like a.
You kind of
You
look like
kinda
him.
look like
Oh
him,
my
he
God!
does.
Now that you mentioned it.
That's it.
Now that
Oh
you
shit!
mention
I would
it.
love to
That
grab
a
dinner
lot?
with him any single time. He was like the best college athlete. Came to
Oh my gosh.
NFL.
Yeah, everybody loved him, and then he, like, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
He played
But
in Florida.
I still wear his. I'm a huge Jets fan. I wear his Jets Tebow jersey at all the games.
Okay,
so,
okay.
So I'd for sure he'd be my number one
He would
pick.
be like, wait. He'd be like, are we brothers?
You
Like,
happy
are you
about
like-
A-Rod?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Love it. Right?
He's coming back, right?
Yeah, because like a lot of my friends are like Buffalo Bills fans, who is like one of the worst teams ever. So they can't win a Super Bowl. So like I'm a huge Jets fan.
But you
so-
said
Yeah.
they're one of the worst teams ever.
yeah, they're that team that keeps trying really hard, and they just keep
Yeah.
choking at the end. Yeah. That's right.
Oh,
They
you
lost
said
all
that like a
those-
fact. I thought it was like, I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
wait,
just-
is
No,
that-
they lost all the Super Bowls.
Some of my
with
friends are
Kelly.
just depressed about it, but yeah.
Oh,
It's
I didn't
alright.
know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Buffalo Bills, if
Yeah.
anyone's listening
It's
that
kind of
likes
depressing, but yeah.
them. Okay, and if,
But phone contact list, for sure.
Wait, so Tebow is your guy?
Tim Tebow is my
Yeah.
guy for sure to go dinner with, and oh my god, what is his name? What's the main star? This is the worst movie, like Titanic. What's the guy's name?
Leonardo
Yeah,
DiCaprio.
for sure. I should remember that one.
Oh,
I'll take his
that's a
phone list.
good
any day.
one.
Yeah.
That's
All
a
those
good one.
li-
You get all those supermodels.
Under 25, that's the age limit he goes up to.
Fine with that.
Under 25.
Yeah, that's
So-
a good one.
See,
That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a first.
make up for the delay in answering the question.
And that's actually
good.
smart, because then they
Yeah.
would all be your patients too.
You know,
so
tell them
they'd be
twice, I
like
know.
paying to date you.
Yeah,
Pretty
and
much.
Who wouldn't want to just
Double
that?
copay. Yeah, and who and okay, that's good.
We have a gift for you. Here is your gift from Play Hard.
And
Look
yes,
Dope.
he wants you to open it
I was
right
about
now.
to say,
yeah.
Literally
Yeah.
right now.
I think the logo is awesome.
Thank you.
So that's a blue tiger eye gemstone.
Did you make this?
We design all that. Yeah.
Can I put it on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I'm just happy I didn't break it.
And
No.
the silver in the
Tell,
middle.
yeah, what can you tell me about it?
It's from Madagascar, the gemstone.
Really?
And blue tiger's eye, the symbolism of it is for wisdom. It's also good for calming, for meditation. That's what it symbolizes. And then
Can you get it wet?
You can get it wet, but we don't recommend like just wearing it in a
Right.
pool.
Swimming.
But
Yeah.
nothing's going to happen to
No,
the
for sure.
gemstone. The gemstone is perfectly
it's
fine.
beautiful.
It's an authentic gemstone, and we have a proprietary wire, so you'll be fine with that. But
That
yeah,
was my next
and the
question. That's
sterling
awesome.
silver in the middle is perfectly fine as well.
Thanks.
Yeah,
And it matches what you're wearing.
I was
absolutely.
about to say, you don't tell me twice. That's
Did you
great.
think about that? Did you know it was
because
blue?
I
You
saw
just
your
kn- you
bio
just knew
and
the
I
pa-
saw you had a blue.
Yeah, I only wear
Oh, that's
powder blue or
actually
purple. I'm
good.
good. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So I was like, blue tiger's eye.
I was
Yeah.
wondering why I was like,
mean,
that's
it's
such a nice one that you're going with
I mean,
for the first
it's
gift.
beautiful.
Okay, yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Oh,
That
pleasure.
was great.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you next time. Bye.